If you have this like a complete ecosystem, you will never run out of leads. This here is a whole ecosystem, and this is basically combining all the approaches you can imagine. You have a top of funnel, you have a middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. The whole goal is that you have an automation anytime you have a positive reply, that it immediately shoots it into your CRM. Cold email, you can reach everyone. Like, it's hardly impossible to not reach anyone by cold email. So all of you guys should have lead magnets that you're creating. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to build trust and also to get leads. Email lists are great because that's traffic that you own versus traffic that Meta or Instagram or whatever controls. A new tool that we have, it's called Prosp AI, and you can use custom GPTs to create content. This is what we're building internally right now. So via voice message, you can actually use two strategies. You can use intro offer or you can use lead magnet. I'm always asking this or that. I'm always keeping it positive. I'm never saying, what's your biggest problem right now? People will not reply. They don't admit pain. They don't know you. But if I'm asking what's working best, I'm like the student, I'm like the interviewer who's like, hey, I want to learn from you for my market research report. And they're like, yeah, of course, I'm going to help you out. This will be super powerful to test these different tools. We have one for automation and outreach, one for inbox management, and one for engagement. So you have a little bit something for all of them, and we're using them all ourselves. So guys, super excited to get started with the first workshop. A lot of you, if you remember introductions, want help with getting more sales and more leads. And that's why this is going to be the first workshop. Even if you started with operations, more sales, more leads is always nice, because you can always then increase your prices as well, which can also make operations easier. And that's why we're going to start with that. Our predictable agency client acquisition system. This is what we actually have been building ourselves in the last couple of months. I want to present this all to all of you. And what we're going to do first, I'm going to give you an overview of the whole system. And then afterwards, we're going to go into some new tools we have been figuring out and testing ourselves that we will show you that you guys can immediately implement for yourselves into your acquisition. The first thing I want to say about this agency acquisition system is that this here is a whole ecosystem, and this is basically combining all the approaches you can imagine. You have a top of funnel, you have a middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and you have outbound and inbound combined. Okay, and if you have this like a complete ecosystem, you will never run out of leads. Right? This is combining, if you guys know Hormozy, he does warm outreach, cold outreach, content, and ads. So it's all in here. Okay, that's why let's get started first with the overview. Let's start with the top of funnel. So top of funnel, we have outbound and inbound. We have different funnels combined here. We have our cold email funnel. We have our LinkedIn outreach. We have LinkedIn content. We have other social media, which would be repurposing LinkedIn content. And then obviously, this is also interesting for the future for some of you, ads, and then running those. I'll explain in a second how we will run those. Okay, so let's go through them one by one just so you understand an overview how it roughly works. Then we go deeper into some of them. So cold email approach, what's interesting for you to know about this is that what we're working on ourselves is to use AI agents, like something like this here. This is an N8N agent. This is a template from N8N. We're building something specific out for ourselves right now. The idea is that you have an agent that can source the leads for you from start to finish, validate them, and then connect them to your sending account so you don't have to do anything of this yourself anymore and don't even need a team member. Maybe a team member oversees if the quality is good. So that's going to be really powerful. We have ourselves someone building those, and once we have them finished, we can also share them with you. And then you connect, of course, tools such as Apollo, such as Sales Navigator, such as Store Leads, for example, interesting for e-commerce, to find the right leads. And then even here, what's interesting is you can have here even inside instantly, you can have an agent being built that helps you also with moving conversations forward and even replying to emails. Going to be interesting when you send an email, get a positive reply, that the agent replies within the first few minutes of the reply. So you have speed to lead, so that basically, like they're directly impressed by how fast they're getting in response. So with AI, that can be really automated and improved right now. Okay, so this is the whole funnel. You lead source, you upload to instant leads, you personalize it. This is also where an agent can be interesting. An agent for customizing the first lines. We're doing this ourselves. You can use Clay, but it's getting expensive, and we ourselves, we use an agent right now to basically customize the first line of the emails. So it's really personalized when you reach out to them. Okay, so basically the way it works is the lead receives an email, they're either interested or not. If they're interested, we also find the lead on LinkedIn, and then if it's an ICP, which it should, if it was sourced correctly, we're also getting them then connected into the LinkedIn outreach funnel. But other than that, the lead here is then connected down here to positive reply, and then the positive replies go into the CRM. And here I will show you in a second later how we add them. But the whole goal is that you have an automation anytime you have a positive reply, that it immediately shoots it into your CRM. And then from there, you have, of course, the agent or someone from your team sending them emails. But ideally, you have also someone calling them with the calling qualification, right? So immediately reply, message to Slack shows up in the CRM, calling setter is there, has the list, directly calls them. And that's possible because we use tools such as Full Enrich here, that immediately finds the phone number of the lead. So it's one automation, lead positive reply, search phone number in database, add it to CRM, setter can immediately call. And that way you can directly, within 5 to 10 minutes in the best place, have speed to lead, and they remember immediately. Imagine someone just replies to an email and 5 minutes later the phone rings and they're like, oh yeah, I remember, of course, I just replied to the email, So that's like super important. So that's cold email. Then let's go into LinkedIn outreach. So we like to combine both because it depends on the industry a little bit. Cold email, you can reach everyone. Like it's hardly impossible to not reach anyone by cold email. Everybody has an email and usually can find those as well. But the thing with LinkedIn is the advantage is combined with the content, you have a bit more trust building there, right? So people check you out and then they see your content and it's a bit more trust there. And so what's interesting here, a few things. I mean, some of you know already, you have new connections and you have existing connections. And with all of those, we want to start basically direct messages and move them forward into the funnel and try to book a sales call here. And we have different approaches here for new connections where you can add people from. And most importantly that I want to show you today is a new tool that we have. It's called Prosp AI. We will also send you the links and all of that after the presentation. But what we have found is you first of all do the lead sourcing similarly to what we do on cold email. So you have either an agent or you have someone from your team helping you that sources the ICP. And then you're building a lead list and you add it to the automation tool. And this automation tool is actually able to connect with them via LinkedIn. So in the past, we were not really recommending automation, and it's always still good to have a VA. But there's some tools out there right now, we were not getting banned with them at all, even though we had the team in LinkedIn, which was pretty good. In the past, you're always getting banned if you're too much in LinkedIn and have automations. But now we're not seeing this much anymore. So that's why it's getting more and more interesting, maybe for some of you guys that don't have big teams yet, to have these tools. But I'll show you in a second more how the tools works. In terms of the overview, again, getting back to this, we have new connections. The profiles are analyzed. Does it match the ICP? Connection request is sent. And then you basically go to new connections and message the lead, right? And then we have the different approaches here. We'll go to in a second how you approach them and what you write them once you have a new connection, okay? But the other part is, before we do that, let's check out first of all the LinkedIn content, because that's a crucial part that you can't underestimate, because you're only going to have so many people that you can reach out to that are new connections. And otherwise, you're going to run out, right? So you're not having a lot of volume with this. And that's why what's very important is that you have a really good weekly content posting schedule, something like this that we have in our training, that have a good content calendar where you have different types of post types here that all have different elements that all come from different categories: authority, character, action, authority, character, action. So these types of roles with different formats that you go through. And especially one that I want to show you that is getting more and more important in 25 and 26 will be these posts here, giveaway posts. And this is the one as an agency. So by giveaway, I mean lead magnets. So lead magnets that you are giving away. So all of you guys should have lead magnets that you're creating. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to build trust and also to get leads. Okay. And so how is that connected? The way we're doing it is, first of all, you can use, again, agents, and you can use custom GPTs to create content. This is what we're building internally right now. Just as a quick draft for you, what's possible. We are building a content agent that gets basically team calls and coaching calls, and of course, blurs that out, but takes ideas and takes automations into transcripts and even the stories I'm posting on Instagram and other course content, puts it into an Airtable, and then from there creates content like this. So it's basically you feed the machine with all types of sources, and then the agent then presents ideas and content ideas in an Airtable format, and then either yourself or someone from your team can craft easy content from this. Okay, so also super powerful in terms of how you come up with a content machine. Then the goal is, again, as I said, that you have different types of posts. These are here. And then, of course, the engagers under these posts, you start conversations with. Okay. But the most important part here, I wanted to show here, are the lead magnets. It's almost like a separate category. This one is a good example because it has a nice hook in the headline. And also the most important thing on LinkedIn is a valuable looking creative. So this was a scroll through, like it scrolled through and it shows a lot of interesting copy paste creatives basically. So all e-com brands are like, damn, I need this creative kind of thing. And so that's like very powerful. And you should have more of these. And you should not just have the lead magnet, but you should build opt-in pages. And the idea is, so you have a lead magnet, you have an opt-in page for each one of those, and you send these lead magnets to an opt-in page. And so then you can do the same thing. You post these lead magnets on LinkedIn, but you can also make a YouTube video. You can post them on Instagram in a story. You can post them on Threads, on Twitter, whatever, and all say, hey, if you guys want this, comment X below and I'll send it to you. And then you send them all to an opt-in page. And then this is basically a newsletter opt-in at the same time where the lead registers and then it's being added to a list. And they're automatically then with email marketing being sent their lead magnet, added to your email list. And then the whole goal is that you create a 30-day nurturing sequence after this. And this is like, maybe some of you have seen this in my story. So you basically have a nurturing sequence that a lead goes through for 30 days where you have different types of content. Case study plus lead magnet, personal story plus CTA in the footer, your founder story. Then you talk about another lead magnet you have. Then you share a case study. Then you give some value talking about some of your pillars. Then you make a direct call to action. Hey, I'm looking for 5 e-com brands who want to do X, Y, and Z, right? So you're mixing it nicely up with direct call to actions, with value, with background story, with case studies. And you do that even for 30 days. And that way, after that, they are going to be super nurtured already. And then after that, you continue sending your usual LinkedIn posts to them regularly that you repurpose via email. Okay, so this is a super important tool that you guys should also build out as well, because the cool thing is, once you build like an email marketing system, you can do that in ActiveCampaign, or you can do that even in Go High Level or whatever. But the goal is that you can then make consistent call to actions in emails, either direct ones where you can have them, hey, reply to email if you're this, book a call. And then you directly start to get inbound calls, or you send people simply for nurturing. You send them to your VSL, you send them resources, or maybe YouTube channel, maybe you have some speeches, maybe you have a community, you nurture them. And that way you have way more traffic to your website. They check your case studies, they build trust, they're gonna fill out an application and then book a call with you. Right? So this is, I think, what a lot of you guys are not having, and many agencies don't have this. You just do outbound message people, but only a small percentage of people is ready now. But it's what with the rest of the 80%? There's not enough nurturing happening, right? So you can nurture with content, sure, but also not everybody sees it all the time. So we need more touch points. And the touch points we're creating, email isn't super easy way. Everybody still opens emails. Email lists are great because that's traffic that you own versus traffic that, Meta or Instagram or whatever controls, right? So that's super important. Then what I would say, that's the top of the funnel. And the cool thing here again is the lead magnet is also one of the new approaches in the outreach. So what we have been teaching a lot of you guys is, of course, direct offers. You come in maybe with an intro offer and you directly pitch. And that still works and is great. But the thing is also, you will not have, a small percentage of people, of course, is always only ready now to buy. And so again, what do you do with the others that who say no or that ghost you or not interested now? Well, you need something else to offer them. And that's where the lead magnets comes in, right? So if they're not willing to do that now, no worries at all. Let's stay connected. And then you say, hey, I have updated our creative templates for e-com brands. If you want, I can send it over for free. Would that be helpful? And they say, yeah, cool, sure, send it over. Boom, you send those out. Some of those will opt in. Email list, 30-day nurturing sequence kicks in, and then give it 1-2 months and they might be ready to buy from you then. Quick overview of the outreach methods. we were expanding this now. We have basically 3 angles, right? We always want to personalize it based on the ICP and a little bit depending on your industry. We still have a direct approach, and a direct approach is going to be, I'm going to go straight for the intro offer. I'm going to be straight. Here's our offer. Here's what I can do. Let me know if I can send more info if that's interesting for you. In the past, we mostly used written or selfie videos. Here's an example of Borgi sending selfie videos. We got a lot of clients just from the selfie video strategy. And nowadays, you can even look into tools such as HeyGen, where the AI is getting better and better to actually have an avatar of you send the video. I would say still be careful, see if it's legit, see how your industry is about this, maybe give it some more time. And also maybe people don't like it yet. Just be observant. There are tools like this for the future. The other thing that we are testing now, though, is what's working very well is a voice note approach. So voice notes, many people don't really do voice notes on LinkedIn, if you think about it. Like they're mostly spam and text people. And selfie, of course, is great because it catches attention, but it's more time consuming. So it's hyper personalized, unless you do AI, which is a bit not sure yet. And that's why voice note is a cool middle ground. Okay. And with voice note, I can actually show you directly what we're doing here with the new tool Pros. We are basically having a strategy like this. Maybe check an example here. Adele is doing Legion as well. Now we're doing this, of course, from her account. And the idea is the script goes something like this. And this is all automated, by the way, all with the tool. Nothing has been done manually here. And it's just, hey, crazy idea to scale and get more clients, 1 sec. So it looks super natural. It's look like, hey, I just seen this and 1 sec. And then here's a voice message. And the cool thing is, if you imagine the LinkedIn inbox, imagine your computer and you open LinkedIn inbox, right? You have a preview and then you see your name and it says crazy idea. You're like, oh, let me click. What is the crazy idea here, right? So it's a little pattern interrupt to immediately in the first 5 words have curiosity for them to even open. Because a big mistake is most of you guys actually messages are not being seen. People don't open the messages because their LinkedIn inboxes are full and you need to get them also to see your message. Okay, so that's one example here. I have the scripts for you guys that we're using for this. So via voice message, you can actually use 2 strategies. You can use intro offer or you can use lead magnet, right? So depending a little bit how fast you need leads. If you, for example, say, hey, I'm ready to do a lot of volume and I know a small percentage will convert and I need leads and clients now, then I would say do high volume and do intro offer. But if you're you want to have a backup, and then for those who are not doing the intro offer, then you use the lead magnet strategy as a fallback, right? And it basically goes like this. You have here an example. So that's something for an e-com brand. Hey, John, great idea for getting my protein more winning ad creatives, 1 sec. And then this is what it says in the voice message. And so this one here is optional. It's you can say, hey, yeah, I hope you don't mind the voice message here. Just thought it would be a nice change from all the messages you're getting. So that's you can customize this if you want. But the basic thing is here is yeah, I just came across your shop and made me realize actually I have something that could be interesting for you. And then you go straight into the intro offer. So all of you guys that know our intro offer modules that we have in our training, you will come in and straight tell them the outcome and the promise. Hey, we will come and we will build a separate landing page for you. And if that landing page is not doing X for you, you will get Y. So get straight to the point. And so basically we have an example. If it doesn't beat your existing pages by at least 20%, you get a full refund. Or you could even, make it even easier and say you only pay once it does, or something like this. It depends on the risk level that you're willing to take. And then you come in here with a case study. We recently helped this from another brand from the UK. Ideally, you customize it to the country where they're always from. And then say the case study, confident we can help you. And then you ask for permission to send over more information. So very simple, very low CTA. Ask for permission. If it's cool, send me a thumbs up. If not, also no problem. Have a nice day, right? And so this is where you're then getting these ones here. So think about this, super easy. People just have to click a button and just send a thumbs up. So super easy. And then in this moment, we have a positive reply. That's what Alex Hormozy calls an engaged lead. Someone that wants to learn more about your business and how you can help them, okay? So that's why this is a super cool strategy. And with the tool Prosp, you have here an automation flow that you feed it, first of all, the CSV files. So you either feed it the CSV files of your lead list, or you can also give it, for example, even giveaway posts from competitors. So think about this. You can even say, hey, there was an lead magnet that escalated where all the e-com brands are connecting under, and you can even have this profile be sent to pros. We, of course, still recommend to have someone from your team or an agent check the quality, because otherwise you have a lot of other agencies that are being connected with, and you rather, let's say you want to have e-com brands or you want to have businesses, okay? But there's a lot of possibilities, and you add them, and then the automation visits the profile, likes their last post, sends a connection request. Once they accept, it sends the message, it sends the voice note that we said, so first as text, then as voice, and then it goes into, you can even have conditional paths. If they opened the message, you will wait for 1 day with the follow-up. If they haven't opened the message, you wait for 3 days. So, it can even check if they open the message and then wait with the follow-up a little bit. So I think that's also very powerful. And then based on that, you can build out your follow-up sequences. Okay, so this itself here, this tool, very powerful. And for lead magnets, it's very similar. You have the approach, just it came across your shop and made me realize I have something could be interesting for you. We see a lot of brands or fashion brands struggle with getting new creatives. So I created a top winning ad creative library, with those 99 ads for fashion brands. It can just copy paste. And I thought it could be super interesting for you. Let me know if you're curious and I'll send it over for free. Well, yeah, have a great day. So that's kind of like the voice message that you're sending out. Yeah, think about this from the perspective of a client. Like, you're not pitching really anything. You just thought, hey, I came across the thing. And I thought that could be interesting. If you want, I can send it for free. So really non-pitchy, leading with value. A lot of people will say, sure, yeah, send it over, right? Again, you still have to do volume because maybe not everybody will opt in when you send the page to actually download it, but that would be great. And that way you have your email nurturing in the background. Okay, so this goes back to what I said here about the different outreach strategies. So we have the resource-based approach, which would be the lead magnet. You can do this in written as well, but the voice one, it works even better. Also, there's a Google Doc strategy where you tell them, hey, I made a Google Doc. You can even with an agent build something like this, or you just send the Google Doc, activate the link after they say, hey, the link doesn't work. We still have the Loom Leader strategy. And then for direct, we have different approaches for the intro offer. And then a few ones I want to show you. Maybe the market research approach is the most interesting. Some of you guys have been asking, Kilian, what about something indirect? Do we always have to pitch and offer something in the first message? And I'm like, yeah, you don't have to. I still think it's most effective if you want to get results, but you don't have to. And there's some interesting approaches we've been testing and also we've seen other agencies use successfully. And I want to show you one of them. And the cool thing is this approach you can also use for InMail. Yeah, InMails are those credits that you get when you have Premium or Sales Navigator, and you can message someone without being connected to them. So the cool thing about this is it would give you the chance to connect with some brands that maybe haven't accepted your requests, but you think they're actually an amazing fit. I want to reach out to them. It just gives you extra volume because a lot of you guys, you have Premium or Sales Nav, but you don't use these extra credits. And so that's why we want to have a strategy for using this as well. And so depending on if you're using it, if they are connected already or not, you say, hey, great to connect. If not, you use something like this. Hey, John, I know this is random, but you seemed like the best person to reach out to. I'm currently putting together a research report on what, type of brands or type of businesses are doing to, and then what you help them with. So, for example, create more winning creatives, or what are clinics doing right now to attract more qualified cases, right? So adapt it, of course, to your business. And then I'll be sharing the finished report with insights for anyone who is kind enough to take a second to respond. And then you're just coming in with a this or that question, right? What's converting better for you? User-generated content or professional product photos? Thanks. That's it. So you just ask them a question here, and I give you here some inspirations of things you can ask. So depending a little bit, on what type of agency you have, you can ask what channel works best for you, what creatives work best, what products work best, what, working better, this or that. So you can see a trend. I'm always asking this or that, super easy to reply. And do you see, I'm always keeping it positive. I'm never saying, what's your biggest problem right now? People will not reply. They don't admit pain. They don't know you. But if I'm asking what's working best, I'm like the student, I'm like the interviewer who's like, hey, I want to learn from you for my market research report. And they're like, yeah, of course, I'm going to help you out. For us, this is crushing it, you know. Everybody wants to say what's working well for them. And so that's why this is going to work much better. Ideally, it's you ask something, what is working best for you right now, this or this. And the cool thing here is, for InMail, you actually just need to get the person to reply, because once they have replied, you can message them again. With InMail, you only have one shot. You can only send one message, not anymore. If they don't reply, you can't message them anymore. Okay, that's why you want to get them to reply, and then you can lead the conversation and maybe then connect with them, and then you have more opportunities, more leads as well. And the thing is, you don't only can use this for InMail, you can also use this, let's say, for content. You know, you can combine this. Let's say someone engages and you feel like this is type of brand, I don't want to go with a direct offer. You could also ask, hey, I've seen your product or your shop. I'm putting together actually a report on this right now. Would you be able to fill out with a question? And then boom, you ask your first question, right? So the goal is that you then have way more conversations that you can nurture down a path. Okay. After you nurture them a little bit, you can put something together like a report of some of the biggest pain points you found your audience to have in a Google Doc, and even send it over and ask them, hey, is that something you also found yourself? And then from there, try to book in a call. Okay. So this is a little bit an overview of the different approaches you can use. And then from here, we have the two paths. We have DM qualification, calling qualification. We always like to do both at the same time. So for example, for us, Bogi is usually doing the DM qualification, moving the conversations forward in LinkedIn. And at the same time, we have a setting team, a sales team that calls those leads as well. Because you need both. You need to hit them from all angles. Some are more responsive on LinkedIn, some are more responsive on the phone. So you want to increase your chances. So basically, all of this you guys are going to get anyway, also in the modules. After they had a positive reply, we want to ask ourselves, is it a positive reply? If yes, we have a qualification process. Here, you know exactly the scripts, for example, where you send over VSL and then you start qualification, asking about their areas and where they need help. We have a lot of qualifying questions you can use here for different areas, what they want to get help with. And we have also follow-ups, booking links, everything you need. And also for if they have a negative reply, then no problem. I would love to stay connected anyways. And here we have a resource for you. I would hook you up with this. So if someone says no, you have the lead magnet backup. Okay. And we have also different variations for this that you can use. What's most important that I wanted to show you on this side here is the calling qualification, as well as a new tool that we're using ourselves, which is called Condo. And Condo is basically a LinkedIn inbox management tool. And the idea here is you have someone from your team or yourself in the DMs. That's a screenshot. And basically it makes your DMs in LinkedIn look like this. And you can have as well different types of sections. You can have, for example, have your clients there, and you can have friends and family and college friends and whatever. So you like also can lead your team not to text the wrong people. And then you can have pipeline stages as labels. And the cool thing about this, what we do is we have a label for positive reply. So in the future, you could even have an agent tag this, but for now you can have someone or a VA or someone from your team, once there's a positive reply, give it a tag. And this tag here, the cool thing is it is connecting to automations. So here's this again. We have like webhooks and APIs connected, which means you can connect it to your other tools. Meaning once there's a positive reply attached here, and the automation adds this lead to the CRM. So the same thing we said on cold email, once we have a positive reply, we have the same on LinkedIn. So you just add a tag and then boom, it shoots the lead into your CRM, sends a message to Slack, triggers the phone number finding, and then your sales team or yourself can immediately call. And so that way, how it looks like this, you have your CRM set up here, and then we use Close, for example, for CRM. And then here, down here is an example of how our CRM view looks like. So here on the left, we have, for example, we blurred this out. We have the lead, we have their website, we have the assigned closers and setters, we have where they came from Adele in this case. So we can even, when we call, we can say, hey, you talked to Adele on LinkedIn, you remember? so we can immediately say which profile it was. And then also this, for example, here is populated from our AI, where once the sales team calls them and asks them about their business, it takes like these numbers here and adds them in here. So for later on, we have everything documented. And here the cool thing is in close, this is, for example, from one of our sales team members, you have a whole AI summary of the conversation. So this is an example here. This was a 9-minute call. And I can come in here and basically read the entire conversation he had. I can listen to it. And this is what I do with the sales team. I give them feedback, how to do better calling and improve their setting. So this was basically then 9 minutes and then turned probably into a sales call. And I can read the entire thing. And then, of course, for you or for someone in your team, you then have the entire information about the lead, which is super powerful as well. Okay, so this is all middle of the funnel here. After there was a positive reply, you want to qualify them. And the goal is, of course, to book a strategy call, have a full calendar. This was a screenshot for Mary's calendar, actually, which was super packed, like the whole week full with sales calls. And then the goal is here then to send them, after they book the call, send them like a nurturing sequence. This is also going to be important, like send them a longer VSL or a pre-call video that explains a little bit more about your method, so they're directly more warmed up. Send case studies and resources, so they're also more warmed up. And then from here, we have different approaches depending if they're showing or not. And the whole sales process that we went into in last year's event, we also have a video. We have this recorded if you guys want that, which is basically here from last year. Okay, and then you have your sales calls and you try to close the client. Okay, so this is in a nutshell the acquisition system. So to summarize, we have inbound with content, we have outbound strategies we have nurturing, middle of funnel, we have call booking at the end. And one last thing I will say, you can then on top, what I would recommend is always first try to get a lead magnet idea validated through organic. So meaning you try to get a lead magnet viral on LinkedIn. I think a few of you guys have managed this already. And then what you can do is build more like these lead magnets out. And then at one point, once you have built a little bit your nurturing sequences, so you have a little bit like an ecosystem where new leads would fall into, then you can even start to run ads. So not ads in certain terms of like, book a call immediately, but ads to a lead magnet. And that way, the goal is that they opt into your lead magnet. You have more leads that are being nurtured here, and you can run ads to the lead magnets as well. Okay, so these are some strategies, and then later on, you can, of course, do bigger book a call funnels and so on. But for this, I recommend having then a sales team in place because they need to call the leads, and otherwise you're losing a lot of ad spend. Okay, so this is the acquisition system, and we went through Prosper already. We went through the inbound strategy for Condo. Maybe to add something on this to the tagging system, we have down here also what you can do is you can set yourself reminders to follow up with leads, then they come back again. So super cool tool. You can also in here, powerful stuff, you can have snippets. So how often do you find yourself posting the same stuff? Especially with our scripts, you can just save them all as snippets, or your call, booking links, all of that, have it in here as a shortcut, and you can super fast move the conversations forward. So you're going to save a lot of time with this tool. And then the final tool I want to show you is Extrovert. So Extrovert is a very interesting tool. We're testing this now ourselves. So you guys might know that especially on LinkedIn, you have to engage as well. You cannot just like post stuff and not engage under other people's posts, right? A way of getting more views on your own posts and getting some of them viral is, of course, you comment under other people's posts and then they reciprocate to you and they comment under yours. Now, it gets quite time consuming and quite tricky to do this all the time and at scale, right? And that's where Extrovert actually comes in. What you do with Extrovert is you first you build your dream 100 list. You build a list of A, dream clients, B, competitors, C, complementary services, so people that target the same audience but don't offer the same service. So you could say, hey, we offer meta ads for e-com brands, and then you have someone else who offers a tracking system or tracking software for e-com brands. That's complementary service, right? So you want to engage under all of these. Maybe additionally, you could have some influencers, some well-known names in your space. comment under these because you know that they already have the eyeballs of your audience. They're already assembling there, they're reading their posts, so you want to show up there too, so that you can actually post valuable comments, and then they will see you. They will see your name pop up all the time, and they see some value, and then they check you out. So you get more traffic from them, okay? And the cool thing about this is, if I'm adding only the Dream 100 here, I have a separate feed inside the tool where it just shows me the most recent posts of my Dream 100. Because how often have you had this, that you like on LinkedIn and there's all random people posting there and you don't know where to engage? And also you could use the strategy that you say, hey, notify me with a notification if this person has a new post, or you just open them all like, in tabs and stuff. But this makes it much easier because you have them all in one clean feed, and then you just go step by step and engage under them. And then, of course, we have an example here. The AI scans the post, and then it makes you a comment that you could post. So the thing is, obviously, this is still human in the loop, right? We're not just posting some random GPT stuff. Here's why this is gonna work. Because, first of all, you are feeding the AI context about your company, basic context about where you're from, what you do, your philosophy, your writing style, everything in here. Then you give it style instructions. Only comment on posts that are this and this. Don't use emojis. Use low writing level. Respect, do this. Be delicate with disagreement. So like you give it your writing style. And then you also give it, for example, here, like examples of posts or content you have done in the past, so the AI understands how you write. And then over time, this AI is getting really good at giving you suggestions for comments that are really in line with you. And then you can still come in here and say, yeah, approve, this can be posted. Or you say customize comment. And then you can just click here, make it short, make long, disagree, make a joke, elaborate, all that type of stuff. And you just click until it's a good comment, and then here, let's go. So do you see? So you're still involved, so it's still your comment that you approved, so it's not weird, or the AI is doing some stuff. But it just cuts down your time a lot. And the cool thing is you can then have a team member do even comments for you once you really trust them after some time that they, like really get your voice. But that's up to you. Maybe you just want to always be involved there yourself and you just don't do as crazy many. And yeah, the other thing is also what's interesting here. You can also set up AI topic monitoring. So you can have AI actually either or for an entire list or for only a small number of people, have monitor, give me only the content that is about agency or about hiring, about lead gen, about sales. Think what are the topics that maybe, creative production for e-com brands or something like this, and AI will analyze the post and only show you those. So you're like, amazing, I can make a super good, valuable comment here and then be perceived as an expert. So I think this tool will cut down your time a lot to do engagement. And what I would say as well, we have actually these links as well. We have affiliate links, which actually give you extra free trials. So if you want to test them out, you have a bit longer duration to test them. We will send them into the WhatsApp group. So if you want to later check this out, you can take the links. And yeah, I would say, guys, this will be super powerful to test these different tools. We have one for automation and outreach, one for inbox management, and one for engagement. So you have a little bit something for all of them, and we're using them all ourselves.